Hey guys, Mr. Nice again. I'm going to talk to you about U.S. History TEKS SE 8D, so let me read it. Explain reasons and outcomes for U.S. involvement in foreign wars and the relationship to the Domino Theory, including the Vietnam War. So, reasons for our involvement in other countries' affairs. We have the Truman Doctrine coming in the 40s. This is out of concern of growth of communism. The spread of communism, specifically, we were looking at Greece and Turkey, specifically being threatened by communist influence. So the Truman Doctrine is basically saying we're going to use whatever resources, political, economic, whatever we got, to thwart the spread of communism into democratic countries. So we got the Truman Doctrine. Now, we also have a containment policy that kind of extends across the Cold War from after World War II up until the late 80s, early 90s. And, you know, there may still be some concern about that even after that. But mainly the containment policy is to stop the spread of communism and taking actions to support, whether it's in Afghanistan, Vietnam, Korea, wherever, we are going to try to stop the spread of communism. Now, Marshall Plan is another example of us getting involved in foreign affairs. After World War II, we have a fear of democratic nations that have just gone through a war and not being very strong, so we're loaning, giving them aid, loaning them money, materials, whatever it needs to help them build themselves back up and strengthen those democracies. So the Marshall Plan was another example. Now, part of the containment policy is also the Domino Theory. Now, with the Domino Theory, I've talked about this in other essays, it's the concern if you think of dominoes stacked up against each other, if you knock one down, then one next to it falls, and then the one next to it falls. And that was the fear of communism. If you let one country get it, then another country is going to get it. Then it's just going to be a cascading event. So that was a predominant theory or belief during that time, which reinforced the need for the containment policy. We're not going to let it spread. So outcomes, we get the Nato, North Atlantic Treaty Organization. That is an alliance with Western European countries and ourselves to bolster our defenses together collectively against any kind of communist aggression or threat. Got the National Security Act of 1947. We're going to see the CIA come out of that, our Central Intelligence Agency. So that's going to be an outcome of that. We've got a loss of lives from the Korean War and the Vietnam War. By getting involved in these foreign affairs, we lose American lives. We get a stronger Western Europe thanks to the Marshall Plan and our efforts with Nato. We get, the United States becomes a superpower. You know, we're just solidifying who we are as a superpower. We were the, determining figure in World War I. We come in late. We come in on the winning side. We help push the side to the win. Similar results in World War II. And then for the, Cold War after that, we're establishing ourselves as a world power, a superpower. So, another outcome not so positive would be the alliances with oppressive regimes. So places like Iran, Cuba, there's several, if we get into Central and South America as well. But around the world, sometimes we allied ourselves, came into an alliance with somebody who may have been a very oppressive ruler or autocratic ruler. Not necessarily the best person in the world, but they opposed communism and they were fighting communism as well. So, an enemy of mine, an enemy of an enemy of mine is a friend of mine, kind of a mentality maybe. But that also meant sometimes you took on alliances or friendships with people who weren't necessarily the best people to take those relationships with. So, hopefully that helps you with 8D, and we'll see if it does, right?